Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Bandai Movie Monster Series Mechagodzilla 1975 Damage Color version. Now, this version of Mechagodzilla comes from the 1975 film Terror of Mechagodzilla, which is one of my favorite movies in the Godzilla series. I like it a lot. It's not my top 5 favorites, but it's definitely my top 10 favorites. I really enjoy this movie. I like the story. I think Titanosaurus is a really cool monster. The soundtrack is really good, and overall, I think Terror of Mechagodzilla was the last movie in the Showa era, so I think they went out on a really high note. I really like this movie, so yeah. But one thing I want to say about this figure really quick, this is like I just said, it's called the Damage Color version, and I think that's weird because that sort of implies that this is a repaint of an existing figure. As far as I'm concerned, that figure does not exist yet. So to me, what it sounds like they're doing is they're doing what Mattel does with their Jurassic World line. They're making like a special variant that's like exclusive somewhere because just like with the Gorosaurus I reviewed last week, this figure is actually exclusive to the Godzilla store. So, like I said, it sounds like they're making this an exclusive before releasing it as a regular release. So, yeah, Mattel does that for their Jurassic World line in case you don't know. For example, last year they released Dennis Nedry as a Comic Con exclusive, but then they made another version of him for the Legacy Collection this year in April. So, yeah. So, I don't know. It's weird then. It's weird for Mattel to do it, and I also think it's weird here. Maybe we're not. Maybe I'm just like, overthinking things, and maybe this is like the only Mechagodzilla 72 figure we're going to get. But regardless, this is Mechagodzilla, so yeah, I don't know what else to say. So yeah, honestly, let's just get into this. I've been rambling on for far too long now. So yeah. Before we take a look at the figure itself, let's take a quick look at his card. First of all, we have a nice screenshot of Mechagodzilla from Terror of Mechagodzilla, which looks nice. For some reason, it's blue. I don't know why they did this. They just decided to make this blue, but okay, whatever. Below this, we have Mechagodzilla 1975. And below that, in Japanese, it says Damage Color Version. I know that because it says version right there, or ver, so yeah. And right next to that, we have Godzilla 2021. On the back, we have Terror of Mechagodzilla right here, movie monster series, and some more legal information. And a nice silhouette of Mechagodzilla's plates, or dorsal plates, whatever. And on the inside here, we have a lot of legal information and a nice silhouette of Mechagodzilla here. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Going back to the actual figure, we'll take a quick look at the paint. And the painting on this figure, for a Bandai vinyl, the painting here is actually disturbingly nice. Like, it is actually really good. So let's take a closer look. So as you can see here, most of the body is this metallic silver. Though there are lots of, there's a lot of like gray highlighting throughout, like on the bolted sections, like on the chest here and on the waist, which I think looks really nice, like really makes the detailing pop here. Of course, on the arm here, we have MG2, which stands for Mr. Garrison 2, and we have that here as well. And of course, going to the head, we have this little red thing. I never really knew what the point of this was, but either way, it's painted nicely. It's painted red. I don't know what to say there. The eyes are painted orange. And the inside of the mouth, we do have little, two little pieces of red there. I never knew what this was supposed to be when I was younger. I don't know if, like, that's where he shot his beam out, but it doesn't really look like that in the movie. It just sort of looks like it comes from his throat and not really, like, his tongue sort of area. So I never really knew what those were supposed to be. But either way, there's red in the mouth there. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for the painting. And yeah, the painting on this figure is pretty much perfect. It's, like I said, for a Bandai vinyl, it's actually kind of shocking how good the painting here is. So, yeah, the painting on this figure is fantastic. So the paint definitely gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the articulation, and it's a Bandai vinyl. You've seen this plenty of times. You know that there's not going to be a lot of articulation. The head is on a swivel. The arms can move 360. This one you kind of have to force, which I wouldn't recommend doing, but I just want to show you guys. And the legs can move 360 as well. Not a whole lot, but, you know, it's a Bandai vinyl. What else do you expect? So, yeah. I wish there was a waist swivel. That's the only thing I wish there was. But other than that, I like the articulation on this figure. So, yeah, the articulation on this figure, let me just center him. There you go. The articulation on this figure is, you know, good. It's what you'd expect from a Bandai vinyl. Not bad, but it's alright. So the articulation, I'd say gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure is actually very nice. I like it a lot. You know, it's pretty much one-to-one to what we see in the movie, which, like I said, I think is great. They didn't really have to make too many, sacrifices when sculpting this figure, because, like I said in my last review, vinyl is kind of a weird material to work with, so when it comes to, very thin and very, pointy, parts on a figure, they might have to make that a lot thicker and a lot, more dull, because not because they're trying to avoid lawsuits or anything like that. Well, okay, maybe that's a little bit of it, but also because vinyl, like I just said, is a very weird material to work with. But for Mechagodzilla, I don't really see them making too many alterations to the actual design. I guess what they could have done, his knee missiles or whatever, or his finger missiles, I guess they could have been more pointy, but honestly, I'm kind of stretching. The sculpting on this figure is pretty much perfect. One problem I do have with the sculpt, however, very minor, but the hands. I don't like how this hand is facing like that, but this hand is facing flat, like that. I wish they were both the same, but that's just me. It would have been nice if there was, a swivel here where you could just kind of, move the wrist, but that's just me. But one more thing I want to point out about this figure that I never really noticed. This isn't a problem at all. This is just something stupid I noticed. But when I was looking at this figure, I couldn't help but notice that this guy has very short legs. And I thought they just goofed with the sculpting. But no, his legs are actually that short in the movie, which I never noticed until now. I grew up with the original Bandai Creations figure, and that figure, it didn't have the longest legs, but it had pretty decently length legs. So when I saw this, it was a little weird to me. I thought they messed up, but no, that's actually accurate to the movie. So yeah, that's something funny I noticed. But other than that, though, that's completely besides the point. The sculpting on this figure, besides the wrist, that's the wrist thing is a very minor nitpick. But overall, I think the sculpting on this figure is pretty much perfect. So yeah, the sculpting on this figure, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing on this figure, and the detailing on this figure is so good. The detailing, wow, they really nailed it out of the park here. The detailing is just phenomenal. Let's take a closer look. So going to the head here, we can see all the metallic, the panels and all the nuts and bolts and everything like that. Everything here is just detailed very nicely. Throughout the figure, all the robotic plating just looks really nice, and all the bolts and everything, like I just said, looks really nice. And we even have some little creases and stuff to sort of give off that feel of a guy in a rubber suit, which I actually really like, because you can see here all of the very minor indentations and everything like that. So yeah, just a lot of really nice mechanical detailing, especially on the arms here. Again, the detailing is just really nice, very clean, especially on the leg here. There's a lot of bending to, like I said, give it that feel of a guy in a suit, and it just looks really good. I get some people, maybe some people would have preferred this to just be smooth to make it look more robotic, but I don't know. There's just something just really charming about having the look of just the suit and not so much the actual design. So, or what am I trying to say? I guess I like this sort of attention to detail of making it look like a guy in a suit. But yeah, and the feet here detailed very nicely. Everything is just very nicely defined. And I talked about this earlier for the paint, but the gray highlights throughout just really makes the detailing pop as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And yeah, the detailing on this figure is pretty much perfect. I don't know what else to say. It is really good. So yeah, the detailing on this figure is perfect. I love it. So the detailing definitely gets a pass. Now we'll do some size comparisons. Here is Mechagodzilla with the original Bandai Titanosaurus. Here he is with King Caesar. This is the Bandai Creations one. This isn't the 2019 version, this is the 2014 version, because that's when I got this figure. And here is the original Bandai Creations Mechagodzilla. This is the same one I had since I was a kid. So, yeah. So there they all are next together. And I think Mechagodzilla here scales perfectly with everybody. He's not too small, he's not too big. Overall, he just looks fine. So, yeah, just fine. And of course, to end this review, here we have some hand sanitizer and Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this? Honestly, I'd say yes. This figure is fantastic, especially for a Bandai vinyl. You know, usually, as far as like the paint apps go, like Bandai, they usually like skimp out on the paint. Like as we saw with the Bandai Movie Monster Series Megalon that I reviewed not too long ago. Actually, I think that was a month ago. But that's besides the point. Yeah, no. This figure overall just looks really nice. You know, the painting, pretty much perfect. The detailing, the sculpting, everything about this figure is pretty much perfect. I mean, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of how the wrists are positioned, but that's a very minor nitpick. Overall, I think that this is a great figure, and I highly recommend that you get it. However, there's just one thing that kind of ruins this figure for me. It's so frustrating. Like, this is a really nice figure. I like it a lot, but for some reason, Bandai decided to make this another Godzilla Store exclusive, and it's like, why? Like, first of all, that doesn't, not only does that make that more, like, inconvenient to get this figure, but it also makes this figure more expensive. Now, this figure costed me $55, which, though it's still not as expensive as the Bandai Godzilla the Ride King Ghidorah, which costed me $90, $55 for a Bandai vinyl is still kind of pushing it, I think. Like, at most, I think they should be, like, 30, maybe 35, but not 55. And I know the only reason why this is so expensive is because this is a Godzilla Store exclusive, but that's just it though. Why would they make this a Godzilla Store exclusive? Like, it's such a good figure, but then there's that where it's just like, this would have been perfect. It's just a regular release. But regardless, there are sites where you can get this guy. I got this guy from Awesome Collector, so there you go. I recommend getting him there, because Awesome Collector is pretty good when it comes to prices, so definitely check them out. But yeah, so, definitely get this figure if you can. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.